Hey guys, it's Nik the Booksmith. Welcome back, welcome back. Well, shall we move on? All right, so we worked on the back last time. Let's work on this side this time. And I think I will start with just this outside flap here. I've been wanting to use this paper. I'm going to mark where the bottom of this cover is, and also where the edge of it comes over here, so I can make some score lines. I'm going to give it like one tick mark of room. So I made a score line where I marked it at the width and then went to the outside another one. And then over here as well, where did I put the, must have been that one. I'm gonna mark right here, and then I'll go out a tick mark and mark there. And then I'm gonna go probably at least half an inch beyond that furthest tick mark, which is not easy to see. I'm gonna light it up with one of my grid marks so that I can know when I'm cutting. Now the regular scissors, and I'm gonna cut the corner out. And I think I'll bevel the edges because it's just easier to glue stuff on if the edges are beveled a little bit. At least I think so. Now I can fold my marks here. And I think I might round the corner over here on this corner, but, and it's a big but, so if this, let's say, goes on here like such and so forth, then perhaps, okay, so what I think I'm going to do is make like a secondary spot on top of this one. Trim that off. And what I think I want to do is mark like a, I don't know, like a little window or something in the middle. But I should probably do that from the back side, huh? So that you don't see my pencil marks. Yeah. Okay, now grab my piece of vellum, and I have to decide if I'm going to sew on it or not, because if I'm going to sew on it, then I really don't want to use tape if I'm going to sew it, because, you know, it'll get all sticky wicket. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to sew along this edge, because this will be the open edge, and then I can sew this to the edge of this, and I don't really even need this little flap then. And then I can sew this on to this on these three sides. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. And prior to sewing, if I want to ink up these edges, then now is the time for sure. Okay, this gets sewn to this. I sewed along this edge, the vellum to the little frame, and then I sewed all 3 sides of this so that it would be on that. And let's see if I can, yeah, just want to make sure it wasn't gonna cut off the threads, the stitching, whatever. So this can now get attached. And I will put a piece along this edge right here, because I'm not going to be sewing through it, so I can go ahead and use tape along the bottom edge. And there we go. So now I have this pocket here that stuff can be put in, and then also this one on the front. So the inside of this, I think I'm going to line it with something ahead of time, just 'cause. And it can be tape or whatever, I guess. I'm going to use tape because I want to move along, and if I don't use tape, then I'll have to wait for the glue to dry. Ain't nobody got time for that. I think I'll cut this down and put tape on the back of the paper instead of trying to put it in the book. A little easier that way. Not sure what I was thinking or not thinking. Perhaps, I think I will cut the very edge off of this so that there's an opening. There you go, make a little thumb hole of sorts. This is kind of hanging out. Move. This is hanging out over in this direction. Then it will need to fold about here and there. All right, because I want to be able to close that, I'm going to find the center about right there. Cut a little circle and then mark the center on that. Because where are... Figure I would take one of these little brads and make like a little circle, a little tie around circle thingamabob. You know what I mean. At least you probably know what I mean. And I like to glue one of these little hole reinforcers to the back to leave room for the string to fit. This slide through like that. Perfect. And then when I glue this down, onto here. This length of string can get glued underneath it. Probably glue this to, where's my glue? Okay. I'm going to glue this to the edge of that envelope. Because if I don't, that string may rip through that edge. So, better safe than sorry. I'll put some glue underneath it, but then I'll put the masking tape over the top. Fray out those edges a little bit. Now I have to let that dry before I put the tape on it. And this, I will attach it on 3 sides. I guess I'm going to leave this open up here just in case. So I'm either going to glue or tape. I'll glue. It's not like a huge amount. It shouldn't take too long for the glue to dry. And because this paper has been tea stained, it's kind of ripply. And I'm worried that the tape would like start to pull away from the force of the paper, pulling it where it's ripply. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't even know if it's reasonable to even think that, but that's what I'm going with. Okay. Now this little string can now, and we can use that to make sure that that stays shut. Then, let's see. Perhaps I'll cut off this edge. Scoot that over for a second. Cut this edge off. And then maybe I could use this to, like, you know, make a flip in this direction. Where's my pencil? I'm going to mark. I need to make the first score line. And I think I will make another one about a 1/4 inch or 2 tick marks away from that, which should be wide enough to float over this without getting bound up. Maybe ink up the edges a little bit so they don't look too new sticking out the top there. I have a slight rule. If you're going to make something uneven, make it uneven enough to make it look like it was intentional and not like you just messed up on your measurements. Does that make sense? If you go too much and you skew it too much, then it's like it might be a little bit off-putting. But if you just slightly offset something, sometimes it just looks like it's uneven, but you didn't mean it to be uneven. So there's this fine line in the middle. It's aesthetically crooked. And then ink fixes everything. That's your Nickism for the day. Deciding if I want a little thumb hole. I usually do. Just because I figure if you don't put some kind of a thumb hole or something, that it's really easy to rip this edge. The other thing that can be done, that I've done in the past. Ooh, I like this side better. I might do this side. Anyway, as I was saying, sometimes you can just double up the edge and then sew it or glue it or something, and then that way it, you know, it beefs it up. I may do that just for something that's a little different. Sometimes with mixed media or junk journaling or anything like that, I think one of the key things is to make it look intentional so that it doesn't look sloppy. But if it looks intentionally grunge, I don't know, sometimes it just seems to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, at least to me. I mean, it's subjective. Everybody has their own thoughts and valid opinions about that, so don't let me skew your sense of aesthetic. It's just a personal opinion. Just line that up with the edge. And what I'll do is I will sew this down on this edge, and then I will take this to the, hold on, it's got to flip up this way, so it's got to be like this. Almost messed that one up, except it goes this way. And then I will sew this around here like that. And then I have to decide if I want anything on the front. So if this goes here, then on this side, I do have this kind of cool little card that could also go here. Maybe it needs a window. A window? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, a window. I still have some of this I can make a little window out of. And this can go right in there. And I'm just going to use masking tape because it will cover over the edges. And then if you put something in that tuck spot or pocket, whatever it ends up being, then it won't get caught on the edges of the acetate. That looks kind of cool, right? With a little window in there. And if this flips up like this, what I will try to do is 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, I think, and do both of these at the same time. However, down on this bottom edge, it's boring me. I've got some of this deli paper that I also tea stained. See how it rips. Maybe we'll give it a little like peekaboo of this stuff under the bottom, like pantaloons. Get out the trusty old glue stick. And when it gets flipped, then this can go here, but I will need to sew down this side first because this side's not getting sewn down. Wait a minute. This side's not getting sewn down either. So I can do across here and then down this way and then across this way. And there will just be a set of stitching up here in this direction, but it doesn't, you know, it don't matter. Does that sound feasible to everybody? Everybody on board? Everybody agree? Speak now or forever hold your. I think that looks pretty good. So now this can get attached thusly. Yeah, that looks good. And then this opens like this. Get a piece of paper. So that's open. And then this is open. And then this section is also open. And then this pocket here. And then also that pocket there. Okay. And for the next video, I'll probably figure out what I'm going to do here. And then perhaps here. Sound good? Not sure if anything's going to go here or not, other than just like an image. I don't know. Depends on, after everything gets filled up, it depends on how much room we're going to have. Because I don't want to make it too full and then not be able to fill it with stuff. So it has to sit nice. And then I also need to be careful because here and here I need to attach whatever I'm going to attach for a closure so that when this gets closed up that there will be some kind of a, you know, a closure. I can't think of another word. Trying to think of another word to make it a more interesting sentence. Not going to happen. Well, I guess that is it for this video. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week, and I will see you really, really soon in the next video. Bye, guys.